I'm Juan. I'm originally from El Paso, Texas, a place where everyone seems to know everyone else's business. My story, well, it's a bit of a roller coaster, and it all started back in high school. I met Jasmine during sophomore year. She was beautiful, with a laugh that could light up the room. We hit it off instantly, and before I knew it, we were the it couple at school. Everything was great until senior year when Mike came into the picture. He was this new guy, charming, a bit of a bad boy, and Jasmine, well, she fell for it. I found out she cheated on me with him, and it tore me apart. But that wasn't the end of it. Jasmine got pregnant, and the baby was Mike's. I was heartbroken, but I couldn't just walk away. Despite the betrayal, I still loved Jasmine. So, I did what I thought was right. I decided to stand by her and the baby. It was tough, facing the whispers at school, the disappointed looks from my family. But I was determined to make it work. Jasmine and I, we tried to pick up the pieces. After graduation, I married her. I thought maybe, just maybe, if I could give her a stable life, show her how much I cared, things would change. We moved to a small apartment in El Paso, and I started working at the local Walmart to make ends meet. But life had more challenges in store. If you are enjoying the story, don't forget to leave a like on the video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. Mike, he didn't just fade into the background. He wanted to be part of the baby's life, and his presence was a constant reminder of Jasmine's betrayal. It was like a shadow hanging over our marriage. In a desperate attempt to gain some control, to solidify my place in this tangled situation, I got Jasmine pregnant again. I thought having our own child would strengthen our bond, give me more say over Mike. But I was wrong. It only complicated things further. Feeling trapped and out of options, I enlisted in the military. I thought it would be a way to provide for my family, to earn some respect, and maybe to find a sense of purpose that seemed lost to me. Now, here I am, a young guy from El Paso, married to a woman who doesn't love me the way I love her, with 2 kids, one of whom reminds me every day of her infidelity, and another on the way. I'm about to leave for basic training, and I can't help but wonder how I got here and where my life is headed. As the days inched closer to my departure for basic training, the tension in our little apartment in El Paso seemed to grow thicker. Jasmine was distant, lost in her own world, and I was trying to juggle too many emotions at once. There was love for Jasmine, a sense of duty towards our family, and a burning resentment towards Mike that I couldn't shake off. The situation with Mike was getting more complicated by the day. He was adamant about being involved in his child's life, and Jasmine, she seemed torn between us. Every time Mike came around to see the baby, it was like a punch in the gut for me. He was a constant reminder of Jasmine's betrayal, and yet, I couldn't deny him his rights as a father. It was a legal and emotional mess, one that I had no playbook for. Meanwhile, my job at Walmart was wearing me down. The long hours, the repetitive nature of the work, it was far from what I had dreamed of doing. Every shift, I found myself wondering how my life had taken such a turn. I was supposed to be starting college, not stocking shelves and dealing with irate customers. The news of Jasmine's second pregnancy should have been a joyous occasion, but it was overshadowed by our strained relationship and the ongoing drama with Mike. I had thought that having our own child would somehow bring us closer, heal the wounds, but the reality was different. It felt more like a desperate attempt to claim something that was slipping away from me. The night before I was to leave for basic training, it all came to a head. Jasmine and I had a major argument, the kind where all the unspoken frustrations and hurt come pouring out. She accused me of trying to control her life, of not trusting her. I shot back, airing my grievances about Mike and how I felt like a second choice. That argument was a wake-up call for me. It made me realize how far we had strayed from the young, hopeful couple we once were. Here I was, about to leave for the military, not out of a sense of patriotism or adventure, but as an escape, a way to support a family that was hanging by a thread. As I packed my bag that night, I felt a mix of emotions. There was fear about the unknown journey ahead, sadness about leaving my family, and a deep sense of uncertainty about my marriage and my future. I was stepping into a new chapter of my life, but the pages of the past were still unfinished, filled with questions and unfinished business. The day I left for basic training arrived with a sense of heavy inevitability. I stood at the doorway of our apartment, duffel bag in hand, looking at Jasmine and our child. She was holding our baby, her eyes red from crying. In that moment, the weight of everything hit me. The love, the hurt, the responsibility. It was a moment of truth, and I felt torn in 1,000 different ways. As I turned to leave, Jasmine rushed towards me. "Juan, wait," she said, her voice cracking. "I need to tell you something." My heart stopped. I could see the struggle in her eyes, the inner turmoil. She took a deep breath and then dropped the bombshell. "I'm not sure the baby is yours. I think Mike might be the father." The world seemed to stop spinning. The admission struck me like a physical blow. It was the worst kind of confirmation of my deepest fears and insecurities. All the moments of doubt, the times I'd questioned whether taking on Mike Child was the right decision, crashed down on me. I didn't know how to react. Anger, betrayal, confusion, it was all there, swirling into a storm of emotions I couldn't control. "How could you?" was all I could manage to say. Jasmine tried to explain, to tell me about her doubts and fears, but the words were just noise in my ears. I left without another word, stepping out into the bright El Paso sun, feeling like I was leaving more than just a home. I was leaving a life that had become too complicated, too painful. As I drove to the base, the reality of what I had just learned was sinking in. I was about to start a new life in the military, but the life I was leaving behind was in shambles. My mind kept racing back to the apartment, to Jasmine, to the child I had thought was mine. The feeling of betrayal was overwhelming. I had tried to do the right thing, to be the better man, but it felt like it had all been for nothing. That day, as I began my journey in the military, I realized that the battles I was about to face weren't just physical. They were emotional, personal, and just as challenging. My departure marked not just a physical separation from Jasmine and our life together, but a turning point in how I saw myself, my relationships, and my future. If you are enjoying the story, don't forget to leave a like on the video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. Basic training was tough, but in a strange way, it was a relief. The physical demands and strict routine gave me little time to dwell on the chaos I'd left behind in El Paso. Yet, in the quiet moments, my thoughts inevitably drifted back to Jasmine, the baby, and the tangled web of lies and truths. I wrote letters to Jasmine, not sure if I wanted to send them. They were filled with questions, pleas for understanding, and expressions of my hurt and confusion. But they remained in my drawer, unsent. I wasn't ready to face the possibility of more deception or hurt. Halfway through my training, I received a letter from Mike. He wrote about the baby, about wanting to step up as a father, and about his regret for the pain he caused. It was a complicated mix of emotions reading his words. Part of me admired his willingness to take responsibility, but another part resented him deeply for his role in my heartache. I called home occasionally, speaking to Jasmine in short, stilted conversations. We were like strangers, tiptoeing around the elephant in the room. She told me about the baby, how she was growing, and each update was a reminder of the life I was missing, a life that might not even be mine. As my training neared its end, I received news that shook me. Jasmine had filed for divorce. It was a cold, hard finality that I wasn't prepared for, despite everything. The reality that my marriage was truly over, that I was now alone, hit me hard. I realized I had to let go, not just of Jasmine, but of the life and future I had envisioned with her. In those last weeks of training, I found myself coming to terms with my new reality. I began to focus on what lay ahead, my career in the military, the opportunities, and the challenges. I started to see my situation not just as an end, but as a beginning. A chance to start fresh, to rebuild myself into someone stronger, more resilient. The falling action of my story wasn't just about the end of my marriage or my journey in the military. It was about the internal process of letting go, of acceptance, and of finding a way to move forward despite the pain and uncertainty. As I stand here today, a newly minted soldier stationed away from El Paso, I often reflect on the journey that brought me here. The high school romance with Jasmine, the heartbreak, the turmoil. It all seems like a different life now. The pain of the past still lingers, but it's no longer a wound. It's a scar, a reminder of lessons learned and battles fought. Jasmine and I are officially divorced. It was a painful process, but necessary. We've managed to establish a cordial relationship, mostly for the sake of the child I once thought was mine. I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not her father, but I wish her all the happiness in the world. As for Mike, he's stepped into the role of a father, and I've made peace with that too. The military has given me a sense of purpose and direction that I didn't know I was missing. It's tough, demanding, but it's also rewarding in ways I couldn't have imagined. I've met people from all walks of life, faced challenges that have pushed me to my limits, and found a strength in me that I didn't know existed. Looking back, I realized that my experience with Jasmine and the subsequent fallout was a turning point. It forced me to grow, to evaluate what I want in life, and who I want to be. The betrayal and the pain were part of my journey, but they don't define me. As I move forward, my focus is on my career, on being the best soldier I can be. I'm open to love again, but I'm in no rush. I've learned the importance of honesty, trust, and taking the time to truly know someone. My past may be a part of me, but it's not my entire story. So, to anyone out there going through tough times, know that it gets better. You'll find strength you never knew you had, and you'll come out on the other side, ready to face a new chapter. Life is unpredictable, but every experience, good or bad, shapes us into who we are meant to be. Thanks for listening to my story. It's been a journey of heartache and healing, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. I joined the military to take care of my cheating wife. If you are enjoying the story, don't forget to leave a like on the video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this.